Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. Welcome to Lesson 9 of the Python study group on loops in Python. A massive congratulations to you, our study buddy. You know, every single lesson you've completed so far has equipped you with the actual tools that professional programmers use every single day. You've already conquered variables, and you've totally mastered if-else statements, meaning you've successfully learned how to make computers make choices. But today we're unlocking a completely new superpower. So here's our agenda for today. We'll kick things off with Welcome to Lesson 9, then tackle the problem of repetition. After that, we'll enter the for loop, see loops in the real world, discuss our study group approach, and finally wrap up with mastering loops together. All right, Section 1. Welcome to Lesson 9, Building on Your Python Foundation. Moving right along to Section 2, the problem of repetition, manual coding nightmares. You know, you've already figured out how to store information and make your code actually decide things. That's huge. But to take that next big step as a programmer, we've got to face a totally different kind of challenge. What if a computer needs to repeat a task? Like, let's say you just need to print the words sending statement to the screen. Sure, doing it once? Piece of cake. But what if you had to write out that exact same print command line by line by line over and over again? Sounds incredibly tedious, right? Now let's scale that up to a real-world business scenario. Think about 50,000 customers. Imagine you're working at a bank and you've got to send account statements out to every single one of them. Just think about the sheer impossibility of writing that print command manually 50,000 times. I mean, you'd literally be sitting at your keyboard until the end of time. Or picture this. You're a data analyst staring down an absolute monster of an Excel file with 2 million sales records. Are you seriously going to manually calculate the profit, row by row, one after another for 2 million rows? No way. You'd completely exhaust yourself, and it would take months to finish. And here's one last scenario to really drive this home. Imagine you're developing software for a hospital, and every single patient's vital signs must be checked every hour. It would be absolutely unmaintainable to write separate manual lines of code for patient 1, then patient 2, all the way up to 5,000 patients. It's exhausting, it's incredibly inefficient, and honestly, it's practically impossible to keep track of. Which brings us to Section 3, enter the for loop, the ultimate hero. So clearly, we need an automatic solution to fix this massive inefficiency. We have to find a way to stop writing the exact same code repeatedly. And to do that, you've got to completely shift how you think about programming. Instead of manually detailing how to repeat an action constantly, writing line after line after line, a loop lets you just tell Python what should be repeated. You literally just declare the task one time, and the computer handles all the heavy lifting and repetition for you. So what exactly is it? Well, a for loop is basically a programming tool that allows a computer to repeat a task automatically as many times as necessary, all without you having to write the exact same code repeatedly. And out of all the different types of loops out there in Python, the for loop is one of the absolute most common. It's a fundamental tool you are going to rely on throughout your entire coding journey. Coach Timothy has this absolutely fantastic analogy for it. He says to think of a loop like a giant factory machine. Once you switch this factory machine on, it never gets tired. It never loses focus, never takes a coffee break. It just simply follows your exact instructions, repeating the process over and over until the work is 100% done. And that is exactly how a loop operates in your code. All right, Section 4, Loops in the Real World, Your Future Career. Now, understanding the factory machine analogy is great, but let's connect this right back to your future career. Think about everyday stuff businesses do all the time. Processing every single employee in a company, calculating total sales across thousands of transactions, sending out mass emails, scanning every file in a giant folder, or generating hundreds of reports. Without loops, handling these tasks just wouldn't work efficiently. Loops are literally the backbone of all automated business processes. And honestly, loops are everywhere, no matter what tech profession you're aiming for. If you want to be a data analyst, you're going to use for loops to process massive sets of CSV records. A software developer, they use them to display grids of products on an e-commerce site. A cybersecurity analyst relies on loops to inspect thousands of login attempts to spot suspicious activity. Machine learning engineers use them to prep training data, and finance analysts use them to reconcile countless transactions. Whatever path you take, you are going to be writing for loops almost every single day. Moving on to Section 5, our study group approach, how we learn. Because this tool is just so profoundly vital to your career, we really don't want you just memorizing what a for loop looks like. We want to make sure you actually understand why the loop exists in the first place and exactly when to use it to solve real business problems. To do that, we're going to consistently follow this exact ladder of learning. We always kick off by understanding the core concept, just like we did today. Then, step 2, we connect it to the real world. Next, we practice with some simple examples before ramping things up in step 4 with more challenging, hands-on exercises and quizzes. Finally, step 5, we tie the whole shebang together with an industry mini-project. This specific progression makes sure you aren't just memorizing syntax, but you're actively building the problem-solving mindset of a true professional programmer. And that leads us to our final section, Section 6, Mastering Loops Together, the Break-It philosophy. As we get ready to actually write some code in this lesson, I want you to remember something really important. Every single experienced programmer you look up to, they all wrote a terribly confusing first for loop. They didn't get better by memorizing perfect code on day one. They got better by messing up. As Coach Timothy says, change the numbers, experiment with different values, break the code, fix it. Seriously, he wants you to get your hands on the keyboard and type every single example yourself. If the code breaks, hey, that is a good thing. Ask yourself why the output changed. Embrace those small, messy moments of curiosity, because honestly, that is where the real learning actually happens. So, study buddy, it's time. Open up your code editor, get your hands on that keyboard. The power of infinite automation is literally right at your fingertips now. Your factory machine is plugged in and it's just waiting for your instructions. So I'm going to leave you with this one final thought to ponder as you start typing. What real-world problem is your very first loop going to solve?